The rich history of Tumacacori National Historical Park. Welcome to another unclassic road trip adventure with backroad explorers and armchair travelers in mind. In this episode, I'll take you deep into the heart of southern Arizona to explore one of the most historically rich and visually stunning places in the American Southwest. Join us as we walk through the meticulously preserved adobe structures, discover the fascinating history of Spanish missions, and showcase the natural beauty and cultural heritage of Tumacacori. This national park is not just a stop on your map, it's a living museum that preserves over 200 years of history, culture, and natural wonder. Let's explore this site, a must-see historical destination, and pretend we are with Jesuit Eusebio Francisco Kino and his party as they approach the Pima settlement of Tumacacori in January 1691. Riding in on the wave of a century of expansion northward along New Spain's west coast corridor, the tide will carry us no farther north than Pimeria Alta, home of the upper Piman Indians. As an avid enthusiast of U.S. geography and cultural history, I love to bring you valuable information about our past, and in this case, the mission's architecture and the indigenous tribes that once inhabited the region. As you travel across America with me, are you asking yourself, why visit Tumacacori National Historical Park? There are several reasons. Tumacacori is a superb stop for those interested in historic travel adventures and destinations along Arizona backroads, not far from the original 50-man Presidio of Tubac. By the way, Tubac deserves a day of exploration, and it hosts the Tubac Presidio State Historic Park. Even though this national park unit is located off Interstate 19, this highway is primarily used by those traveling between Tucson and the border towns of Nogales, Arizona, and always engaging Nogales, Sonora, Mexico. The park is 45 miles south of Tucson and 19 miles north of Nogales. A few tips for visiting off the beaten path: Tumacacori, leave open an hour afterwards to indulge in a fruit burro at Wisdom's Cafe, just north of the park. Local dining options are also available in Tubac. Wisdom's Cafe is a huge destination. One moment the parking lot is empty before they open, but the second the restaurant opens, the parking lot is magically full. We've witnessed this on numerous occasions. Also, you can mail yourself a postcard by walking across the street to the post office. Remember, sending yourself a postcard is the cheapest souvenir. We also enjoy visiting the Aromatic Spice Company south of the post office. And those with extra time, hike part of the Juan Bautista de Anza National Historic Trail, which will take you all the way into the adjacent historic town of Tubac. We did that one time. We went farther than we wanted and caused ourselves a little grief. Tubac is a fun place, although it is kind of a tourist trap sort of town with all the artsy shops, etc. Italian-born Jesuit priest Father Kino established this mission in the northern frontier of the Spanish colonial empire, naming it San Jose de Tumacacori in 1691. At the end of this video, I will share a little bit more about this historic figure. Kino established over 20 missions among the Adobe Indians of Pimeria Alta between 1687 and 1711. Franciscan priests built the present church during the period 1800 to 1822. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. The Franciscan Church, cemetery, and picturesque grounds, hikes in the nearby Juan Bautista de Anza National Historic Trail will provide a phenomenal experience. While visiting, try to appreciate that $20 million have been spent to restore the mission. I want to say that we make a point to get to every national park along our travels. I have realized through experience that if the Department of Interior has deemed it worthy of park status, it's worth your time. I have been to almost 300 national park units, and so far have only been to 2 that I was disappointed in. I'm not about to divulge which 2 they are because you might not feel the same, and I wouldn't want to deter you. After parking and passing through the visitor center to see the artifacts, get your passport book stamped, and pay the entrance fee, you will find lots of neat stuff in the visitor center museum. Artifacts and interactive exhibits provide further insight into the lives of those who called this area home. From pottery to farming tools, each piece informs us of the daily lives and struggles of the indigenous and Spanish settlers. The Adobe Visitor Center was built in 1937. And most importantly, buy or borrow the self-guiding tour book available at the Visitor Center desk, which will accentuate your detailed walk through the Tumacacori mission ruins and give more insight into the Spanish colonial architecture and even providing hidden details in the structures. The park is a window into the history that has shaped southern Arizona. I will guide you through the ruins while sharing captivating stories about their historical significance and architectural features. Knowing the backstory of these structures enriches your experience as an explorer, allowing you to appreciate not only the aesthetic beauty, but also the historical weight behind every brick. Located along the Santa Cruz River, Tumacacori National Park is not just a park, but a living museum that showcases centuries of human history. Established in 1908, this national park preserves the remnants of 3 historic missions, stemming from the Jesuit and Franciscan missions of the late 17th and early 18th centuries. These missions symbolize the Spanish colonization efforts and the melding of European and indigenous cultures, a tale of resilience, faith, and adaptation. Founded in the late 1600s by Jesuit missionaries, these missions were part of the larger effort by Spain to colonize and convert the indigenous O'odham people, also known as the Pima, in what was then known as New Spain. This was a cultural crossroads in the Santa Cruz River Valley. O'odham, Yaqui, and Apache people met and mingled with European Jesuit and Franciscan missionaries, settlers, and soldiers, sometimes in conflict and sometimes in cooperation. After the black-robed Jesuits were expelled in 1767, the gray-robed Franciscan missionaries took over, continuing their work and expanding the mission structures to reach the river people. The mission San Jose de Tumacacori is the prime reason to go there and the main site preserved at the park. It was built with thick adobe walls with arched ceilings. The church once stood as a symbol of faith, community, and cultural change. The structure itself blends Spanish, Native American, and Mexican influences, showcasing the unique craftsmanship and adaptability of the people who built it. See the associated cemetery, mortuary chapel, lime kiln, convent, the reconstructed O'odham house, and the mission orchard on a self-guided walking tour. Despite hardships including Apache raids, disease, and shifting political control, Tumacacori survived for over 150 years. The mission was officially abandoned in the mid-1800s, but its legacy lives on. In 1853, the Gadsden Purchase allowed the Tumacacori site to become part of the U.S. To learn a little bit more about the Gadsden Purchase, may I recommend my recent video on La Mesilla, New Mexico, the site of the signing of the profound Gadsden Purchase. The link is in the description below. In 1908, President Theodore Roosevelt designated the ruins as Tumacacori National Monument, later becoming a National Historical Park in 1990. I so much appreciate Teddy and his foresight to protect all these great places. The preserved structures are more than old walls. They're witnesses to centuries of change, and walking among them is like stepping into the pages of American history. These man-made structures brilliantly contrast with epic blue Arizona skies along paved pathways, providing an immersive experience that captures the essence of this extraordinary site. The original mission, built in 1691, became a center for religious and cultural exchange between Spanish settlers and the Native American populations, including the O'odham and Yaqui tribes. O'odham were the original residents of the Tumacacori. This large and diverse tribe occupied land stretching thousands of square miles. The Yaqui, or Yomi, worked closely with the Spanish and O'odham at Tumacacori and other missions. Behind the adobe structure, struggles of land, faith, and identity in the region, along with the desire for education and agricultural development, occurred. In the late 17th century, Jesuit missionaries began to explore and establish missions among the indigenous populations of the area. The first mission at Tumacacori was established in 1691 by Padre Kino, an important figure in the Jesuit missionary efforts in the rich tapestry of American Southwest history. He was not the resident priest there. The Pimeria Alta saw a parade of priests, some staying for decades, others who came and went within months. The first mission at Tumacacori was a simple structure, but it was eventually replaced by a more substantial building in 1757, known as Tumacacori Mission. The mission's mission was part of a network of missions established to convert indigenous peoples to Christianity and to integrate them into colonial society. The mission system began to decline in the early 19th century due to various factors, including internal conflicts, resistance from indigenous people, and the expulsion of the Jesuits from the Spanish territories in 1767. After the Spanish crown secularized the missions in the early 1800s, Tumacacori was abandoned and fell into disrepair. Directed by a master mason, work began about 1800 with a crew of Indian and Spanish laborers. Progress is totally the wrong word in describing the decades-long struggle to finance the adventure and see the church constructed. The almost completed church maintains a never-capped bell tower. We must not fail to recognize the craftsmanship that was required to build these structures in a challenging desert environment, a true testament to human ingenuity and determination. However, the colorful structure was no doubt a striking landmark in the Santa Cruz Valley. This is the structure that is most prominent today, a 75-foot nave. The region's history continually diversified and changed with settlements and increased agricultural development in the 19th century. We have been there 3 times, and during each visit to this relatively small park, we appreciate it more and more. This is a quiet, probably underrated national park unit and uncrowded spot that offers deep reflection, scenic views, and a powerful connection to America's early history. Enjoy the short hiking trails that wind through the beautiful Sonoran desert landscape, where you can experience the native flora and fauna unique to this arid landscape up close. In an upcoming video, I will take you to the eye-catching San Xavier del Bac mission, which is located closer to Tucson. This is another exceptional mission church with a vibrant history and a great place to eat an Indian taco. That came out of left field, right? You'll have to watch that video. Interesting bit of competition. In 1803, when Tumacacori was called substandard by many in the region, the Franciscans sought to rebuild it to match the frontier Baroque glory of the celebrated mission San Xavier del Bac to the north, which was completed in 1797 and is considered the finest example of Spanish colonial architecture in the U.S. Let's stay connected, and if you love off-grid adventures, national park content, and history-rich travel videos, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more weekly explorations into America's most fascinating places. Oh yes, let me tell you a little more about Padre Kino. And I also need to inform you that the Calabazas and Gavavi sites are open to the public only on special guided tours during the winter months. These are ruins of 2 other nearby mission sites closely associated with Tumacacori. Padre Kino was known as the Padre on horseback. He was never a resident priest at Tumacacori, but Father Kino is the one man forever linked with the mission. Born in 1645 to minor Italian nobility, Kino vowed to become a priest during a serious illness at age 18. After studies in Italy and Germany, he joined the Jesuit order, and in 1681, he went to Mexico. In 1687, he was assigned to the Pima. He found his calling. Kino crisscrossed the Pimeria Alta for 24 years, establishing missions, blazing supply routes, and mapping the area for New Spain. He loved such work, but also excelled at administration, returning often to the missions he had established to oversee the work of the fathers underneath him. When Kino died in 1711, Spain lost one of its greatest missionaries. Kino was also part of the history of Casa Grande, which you can now go visit the Casa Grande ruins, which are located between Phoenix and Tucson. I've also featured a video on this impressive park site. Drop a comment and tell me, have you been to Tumacacori? What are your favorite hidden destinations in the U.S.? We'd love to hear from our fellow adventure seekers and history explorers. Hit the bell so you never miss an episode of our unclassic road trips. I have many videos on places in the Southwest on my channel that take you to great parks and museums in New Mexico, Arizona, and Southern California. Check out my national and state parks, hikes and byways, and museums playlist for more educational tourism at your fingertips. Until next time, keep exploring. Flip-flops on the ground. Unclassic road trip.